Let's do this. Hello, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. But remember, your health is your wealth. What's up, gamers? All right. We still talking about this Activision Blizzard deal. Got two articles here. Listen to this one. Got one. There's one from Tech for Gamers, and the other is from Eurogamer. Listen to this. All right, where we at? We got this. We got it. It says, okay, the one from Eurogamer goes like this: Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal reportedly set for EU's antitrust warning, right? And then the one from Tech for Gamers says this: Microsoft is facing threats of the EU antitrust warning over Activision Blizzard. But here's the thing now. Microsoft, okay, you got 98% of the shareholders involved in this, right? They agreed to it. Then you got the employees at Activision Blizzard. They all agreed to this. Then you have the public, which is 75%, right? Agreeing to the deal. And then you got those four countries behind this deal. That's Saudi Arabia, Serbia, Chile, and Brazil. So once you got countries involved in this, yeah, this is gonna be a battle, man. And then, you know, the FTC now didn't give Microsoft their due process. So this is going to be a battle in court. Listen to this. It says here, despite Microsoft's numerous efforts, the Activision Blizzard acquisition continues to be an uphill battle for the gaming giant. Microsoft has resorted to measures such as committing to a 10-year deal for Call of Duty on Nintendo consoles. But regulators appear to be still skeptical about the deal. A new report from Reuters claims that the European Commission is working on a charge sheet called Statement of Objection to voice concern over the buyout. It says, while Microsoft was expected to present its case to the EU regulators to avoid a statement of charge, the European Commission has decided to resort to the charge sheet before any negotiation. That means they want to make sure that they got everything cleared, understood. There's their I's dotted, their T's crossed, and their Y's looped, if you get the point. It says here, it claims that this move could add to the growing list of challenges Microsoft faces. The gaming giant recent acquisition has seen concerns from Google and Nvidia. Recently, meanwhile, Sony continues to be the biggest rival to Microsoft. The FTC has also filed a lawsuit against the acquisition, but Microsoft insists that the company will face the challenge head on. And that's how you got to do it. You got to stand firm. You got to stand firm in this. You can't back down. Anyway, it says here the EU latest decision will likely increase the difficulty of the massive purchase, but Microsoft appears to be confident about company position on the matter. And that's where those four countries come in. It says here, should the deal go through, Microsoft will bring Activision games like Call of Duty to Game Pass, providing easy access to millions of gamers around the world. On the other hand, Activision has claimed that games like Call of Duty will not come to a subscription service if the merger fails. And then it says here, Microsoft stated, we continue to work with the European Commission to address any marketplace concerns. And then it says here, while many regulators oppose the deal, the Activision Blizzard acquisition has been approved in Chile and Serbia. Other countries like Brazil and Saudi Arabia are also in favor of the merger. See what I mean? Those four countries, they have power. So 4 countries is better than none. Anyway, says here, Multiple regulators are expected to announce their decision in the coming months, and the next few months should prove to be crucial to the fate of the 68.7 acquisition. We talking billions here. Says here, for now, Microsoft maintained its stance to bring games to more people worldwide. And then let's see here. The one on Eurogamer goes like this. It says Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal reportedly set for the EU antitrust warning. Concerns to be laid out over coming weeks. And then says here, Microsoft will next need to defend its $68.7 billion bid to buy Activision Blizzard in front of the EU. A fresh report has claimed. New agency Reuters report that Microsoft is set to receive an antitrust warning from the European Commission, setting out the organization's objections to the deal. This document will be shared with Microsoft in the coming weeks. It's understood ahead of the EU, the 11th of April deadline for its decision on the deal. And then it says here, the suggestion that Microsoft will face scrutiny from the EU regulators does not come as a surprise, especially considering the stance already taken by the UK Competition and Market Authorities, CMA, and the US Federal Trade Commission, FTC, will have both moved to check the deal. Microsoft is expected to offer concession to ensure its bids safe and timely approval, and indeed in the EU's this warning is the next step along that path, while informal dialogue on what those concessions might be continued behind the scenes. On such concession was previously reported as being the offer of a 10-year contract with PlayStation to keep Call of Duty on the platform, something Sony was claimed to be about as excited about as a blockbuster was about to rise of Netflix. So far, Microsoft deal has been approved by regulators in Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia, and let's not forget Chile. And it says the Xbox owners have previously stated it expects the deal to be approved this year, though numerous hurdles remain. And then it says earlier this month, Microsoft was faced with a claim that the FTC decision to sue over the deal was unconstitutional. And anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Going once, going twice. Are we done here? Yep, we're done. So those are the two articles. So, okay, let's go back to Tech for Gamers here. This one, the case file, the name of the file is called a statement of objection. Well, the EU, the UK, the FTC, they're just making sure that that no one gets taken advantage of in the deal, and they're making sure that their I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and Y's are looped. But Microsoft now, they have support from countries. It's one thing if they would have just had the shareholders, the employees, and the public support, they would be in a pickle. But when you throw countries now behind the deal, and those countries, they have power and they have authority and they have say so. Now you got a stronger case. You got a stronger defense to fight your to fight the case, and also to make sure the deal go through. So 4 countries are better than none. And who knows, like the last video I did on this, on the last article that I did on this, the article talked about other countries might join. So Serbia, Chile, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. But then there might those are the main four right now. But see, Serbia, Chile, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. Those are the main four right now. But there might be other countries that join those four. So, four countries are better than none, and Microsoft got a strong. They got some strong support behind them, behind the 98% of the shareholders, behind the public, behind the employees. You got countries now that are involved, and they carry their own weight. So they got a stronger defense now. So and everything is going to be brought up. You know, even the Federal Trade Commission not giving Microsoft their due process. That's going to be brought up by those four countries with their own attorneys. So yeah, Microsoft they have to stand firm in this to see this deal through, you know. And a lot of times when like I said before, you know, when they were like going through the process of checking the deal, that was to put pressure on the shareholders so they can back out. You know, that was a way of putting, without even saying it, that was a way of putting pressures on the shareholders so they can back out the deal. But in a deal like this, you have to stand firm. You have to stand firm in it. You can't back out. You know, once you agree to go in on this deal, you know that you're going to face some uphill battles, but you have to stand firm in it. And what makes Microsoft case so strong is that those four countries now, which are governments now, they come into play. So now they got some power behind them. So it's going to be a fight in that it's going to be a fight in that courtroom, and everything will be brought up. But Microsoft was right for doing this, and people talking about Sony and Nintendo ain't got the money to purchase Activision Blizzard. Nonsense. There's a thing called your what's your quarterly report with all the money that Nintendo and Sony made over the years in the video game business. Of course they got $68 billion to spend. They just pretended like they don't. So, because if Nintendo is doing all this, building all these theme parks and doing movies and all that, of course they got money to spend. What about Sony? Same thing. Sure they got that type of money. So, like they say on Call of Duty Black Ops 4, first come, first serve. When Activision Blizzard was out in the open and they were going through their problems and their turmoil, Sony and Nintendo never stepped in. If they would have stepped in from jump, then it would probably then the situation might have been different. But since they didn't do anything, and Microsoft saw that they didn't do anything, Microsoft swooped in like an eagle snatching fish out of water. Got him. So yeah, you know, they were right for doing this. Activision Blizzard needed help, and you had a lot of media outlet that was covering it, and nobody even said like, you know, maybe Sony and Nintendo should have stepped in. Nobody. But Microsoft stepped in and did the right thing. You notice too, like when Microsoft bought ZeniMax Bethesda, nobody really lost their jobs, man. People still got their jobs. You know, so that should tell you, if people at ZeniMax Bethesda never lost their jobs, didn't lost their jobs when Microsoft did the first deal, what makes you think that people at Activision Blizzard are gonna lose their jobs? None. Then on top of that, you have they just did a like a union merger now within the Microsoft just did a union merger with the studios that they purchased. So the employees can have some say so or some power in their, you know, of what that goes on in the company. As far as I can see, the Activision, they did right on this. You know, they did right, and maybe this will teach Sony and Nintendo, stop taking the video game industry for granted. You know, this should teach Sony and Nintendo, stop taking the video game industry for granted. Okay? When you see studios going through turmoil and you're a console manufacturer and you got the money and the resource to help that studio, you step in and you help them. You don't sit on the side and don't do anything. So Microsoft was right for this, man. And they got support. They got a lot of support behind this, especially with countries that are governments. Yeah, that's gonna come into play into this. So they did right, man. And the EU, the UK. I'm sure they're trying to make they're looking at the entire deal from top to bottom. But they know what those 4 countries that they're facing. They're no pushover. So they're making sure that Microsoft does right on this deal. I don't think the EU want to see anything bad happen. I think they're just doing they're checking this out to make sure that Microsoft do right, so and then go on from there. But other than that, man, they did right on this, they did right on this, and we'll see by the end of the year how all this plays out. But when you got countries involved in this, countries with some power and some authorities and some say-so, now you got a stronger defense, man. You got a stronger defense to fight this case. To fight this case. You're not to fight the purchase. To stand up, to stand your position on why you made the purchase. You're not just going in there alone by yourself. It would be suicidal if they like if they went try to face the EU and the UK by themselves with no support. That would be a battle. But when you got countries, oh yeah, it makes a whole lot of difference. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy with these 2 articles. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan, or Dark Side.